Hello, everybody. Welcome to GreenWales, the channel celebrating the company's projects, charities all around Wales who are aligning to the Future Generations Act and the UN SDG Sustainable Development Goals. We're on our long journey so far. We've had a fantastic 6 months all over Wales. Today we're in Rada and we're with Rosie here, who is the founder, director of Grounds for Good.
That's right.
Rosie, could you give us a tiny little overview of the company
Sure.
And what it is that you do?
It's very simple, really, because we do what we say on the tin.
Yes.
We take waste coffee grounds and we do good with them. So we are the only business that I'm aware of in Wales that actually see waste coffee grounds as an opportunity, a resource, and we transform those coffee grounds into various products, all in Wales.
Fantastic. And, we're at Pew's Garden Centre today because we've been on a little tour of seeing the system in practice, from the coffee grounds being collected, deposited in the little waste bin. What's nice is the bins that they get deposited in the cafe are no different to a normal cafe. So there's no difference in how they operate. It's just, instead of it going in food waste,
exactly,
it just goes into a coffee waste bin instead, and then goes into a separate bin out the back, which then gets collected once a week. So it just shows you how circular economy practices are actually coming together really well.
Yes.
And what's lovely as well is we've been on a little tour where we've been seeing the products. I thought it was like 1 or 2 products. I think we saw like 4. We saw oil, three spirits,
and then very randomly slug pellets.
Yeah, which I just think helps show you the variety of methods. And this is, there's probably a lot more that coffee grounds could actually do as well. Yeah. And we were also talking earlier on in another video about how much coffee ground waste you collected last year and how much waste you've collected this year.
So far this year. Yeah, so we've so far, and we are due another drop very soon, it's 21 tonnes. And last year was 29 tonnes in total. But we only really got going the autumn before last year, if that makes sense. So that would have been 24, end of 24. So really 25 was our full year of getting going. So I think this year we're going to see a doubling, if not more.
If not more, because we're only, That's great. Thank you, Rosie. So what that takes me on to is a really nice question to start off with. Is how does it contribute to a more sustainable and prosperous Wales? Which future generations or SDG goal does it support? And I think, just from talking to you, the long-term aspect of things is a fantastic way to start with what the company's trying to do.
Absolutely. So we I guess, are highlighting that waste doesn't have to be wasted. It may not be on people's radar, but we are talking about not a small waste stream. It's absolutely huge. And the coffee culture, if you like, has been growing. I mean, exponentially over the last 10 years. I can't see that kind of going anywhere. It might plateau, but I don't think it'll decline. And I know, in terms of sustainability, the first is, reduce. Is our first step. But are we going to say to people, you must stop drinking coffee? That's never going to happen.
Yeah.
And in its own right, that is a huge industry, isn't it? That supports a lot of people.
Yeah, and we talk about the supply chains and how global it is. And one of the long-term goals of the Wellbeing Future Generations Act is a globally responsible Wales. And I think how we respond to the waste that it creates. You were telling me a really interesting fact of the percentage of weight of food waste. Yeah. And can you remind me what that is? Or tell everyone?
Obviously, we were exploring with coffee shops very early on. How much did coffee grounds contribute to their overall food waste? And most would say, if they're not a restaurant, they're a small cafe, 80-90% of their food waste is coffee grounds. And the problem with that is it takes on its own weight in water. So every kilogram of coffee generated is 2 kilograms in terms of waste. So it's really heavy and wet. And it takes up a lot of room then in their waste. And so their actual genuine, what we call avoidable food waste, is very small.
Yeah.
But they have no real conception of that because everything goes into one big mess and then that's taken away. So actually the carrier fee will be the same.
Yeah, and this is the thing with businesses, they get charged a rate for their waste. Yeah. So if they're lowering their waste and lowering their weight, I'm guessing they're saving money at the same time. So it's a bit of a win-win.
We do, and we try to work with them to make sure that they're, coming out of this cost neutral, if not cost benefit. But with the added benefits of knowing what their genuine food waste is, which means they can tackle that internally. It could be that they're overplating, or not getting, over ordering, and therefore stock is going out of date, all sorts of factors that might be in play there. So they could look at that. But their unavoidable food waste, which is coffee grounds, which is actually a signal of how well they're doing in terms of selling coffee, is penalising them. So if we could keep that out of that equation, we do have to charge, unfortunately, because we've had to set up our own sort of collection service. That goes to the carrier, not to me. Our business doesn't profit from the actual collection of the waste. It's just something I had to set up to enable me to get that resource at scale.
And we say about incremental change as well. I always say, because people always want to be like, people always go, I need to go to sustainability group, but I'm not perfect and I can't do everything straight away. But this is a really easy way for someone to do something incrementally.
Totally.
It's great for them as their story, great for their reputation, great for their own. Everybody has climate anxiety, whether they like it or not. They don't realize it. They just call it anxiety,
Yes.
But I think it's 83% of the UK population wants to see dramatic action on the climate and what we're doing. Everybody can do something. And if you're an owner, you have a coffee shop, this is something you can do, which has a tiny little change to the business, and it's more just setting it up. And as soon as it's going, it's done. And then you're having a better impact. Because we know, there is quite a big impact on growing coffee beans, etc. So if you can lower your own impact on your end of the supply chain, then great.
I mean, that's what struck me, I guess, when I started this, was you think about all the love, the, money, the passion that goes into growing, cultivating, and sometimes not very fair, practices that go into growing coffee beans, harvesting it, etc. Then, processing it at that end. Then importing, exporting, roasting, then we get our cup of coffee. It's a huge community and it's interplays across all sorts of different sectors. And then we have the cheek, if you like, to put water through it once, enjoy our cup of coffee, and then it's deemed a waste.
Yeah, and it just that's crazy. These days,
crazy.
There's circular economy, there's recycling, there's ways of making the most out of everything that we've got. And we're doing that cost of living crisis, the pressures it puts on us. Having water butts at home. We're collecting rainwater to water our plants, wash our cars. We're doing it in everything that we do. And it's now the time to start looking at all the different things that we consume and use.
We have to, because we're growing as a population and we are creating more waste. And the crazy thing with coffee grounds waste is that it still contains over 90% of the coffee bean. It's not even a waste. It's actually a very valuable resource.
You're saying I could make another coffee out of this ground?
Well, you know what? You could in theory, but because we like the caffeine part of coffee, what you find is in the waste, it's almost a decaf. That at least 2/3 of the caffeine has come out. But if you,
you could make
you wanted to do a low caffeinated,
that's amazing. But that's another clever way of just thinking about a different product in a different way. And I think this is the nice part as well. What I want to ask you next was, because we sort of touched on all the different products you make, but it's what products, services, solutions do you offer, and how is it helping Welsh communities or businesses transition to net zero or circular thinking? So I would love you to maybe list out the products that you make, and then also maybe the service. Because it's more than just a product.
Yes. So our coffee grounds have three little routes that they might go. One is product with us and product development, and we have a variety which I can explain in a moment. So that goes back into retail and hopefully generates income for the business and growth. And we work with other Welsh businesses to manufacture these. So I outsource a lot of the production to other Welsh businesses. Then the second is it goes to any kind of surplus left over is not going to be wasted, believe me. So it goes to anaerobic digestion. In very simple terms, that's like a big cow's stomach. And it digests the food, including coffee grounds in there, and it gives off methane, and that methane is converted into green energy. And then what's left at the end is called a digestate, and that's actually a biofertilizer.
Oh, wow, so there's actually two products
there. There's two products that come out of AD. And we've worked out that about 4.5 kilograms of our waste coffee will give about 1 kilowatt an hour of energy, which will power a laptop for about 20 hours.
And that's not much, because you think how heavy coffee grounds actually are. That's actually quite an efficient use of the grounds.
So we worked out today, because we've collected about 50 tonnes so far, that we've powered 3 Welsh homes for a whole year. From that,
and this is only, you're scaling up right at the moment. So it just shows you the impact.
Yes.
We need a variety of solutions.
We do.
To be able to power, recover, have new energy, new resources. When you look at what's been happening in Iran and fertilizers, etc.,
Totally.
all being trapped
I
up,
know.
we need all these
We
different
do, we
answers. I know
really
like
do.
Carry Moore's doing their own, but
Yes.
again, you can't
Yeah.
have one company being responsible for all of it.
No.
It's got to be a plethora of options.
Absolutely.
Supply chain's got to be shorter for everybody, so it can't be good everywhere. But the more options we give, the more resilient we'll be as a population,
Yes.
and the more we'll be insulated from different types of shocks.
Absolutely. And so the third bit, which
Yes,
leads on
please.
really nicely, is our research and development. And I, not bragging, but I guess I've become a bit of a coffee grounds expert, whether I
Great.
like it or not.
Yes, a
in the last
consultant
5
maybe. Yeah.
Well, we do, and I think this is where where I see our legacy. I am a sole person trying to make a difference
Yeah.
in this area, and I won't be doing it all on my own. I can't. I
Yeah.
love collaborating anyway, but what we're really trying to do is incentivize other businesses to think of coffee grounds as a stream for their sector. So they swap out whatever they're currently using. And I got my inspiration for the business from looking at what's happening across the world. And there are some amazing businesses that use coffee grounds already to make fuel, to extract the oil, which is used then in food and personal care products, to extract the fiber, to extract the protein, to use it in agriculture, composting, fertilizer, biochar, industry. It's been used to make concrete stronger, insulation, fabrics, paper.
Wow,
inks.
that's a huge list.
Huge list.
And I'm sure that's not you're
not all of
exhausting
it.
the list
I'm not.
either.
So-
but it shows you in this country we're not using it at all.
So what I would really love, I guess, this is my aspiration, is for Wales to use every single bit of coffee grounds, whether it goes to this or that, whatever. So
Yeah.
it's reused again.
Getting it again.
And I won't be doing all of that, but I'll be working or incentivizing or trying to help direct another business. And we have a perfect example of that, which I think we mentioned earlier, which was the mushroom cultivation.
Yes.
Now, I knew that you could grow mushrooms off coffee grounds, but it was finding a business that was receptive to that idea. And they're using their own coffee. So I'm not even having to donate coffee. They've got it internally.
And you think at the moment
You know.
about collaboration and having all these different options. You know, the businesses I talk to, the most successful are the ones who collaborate the most. When you
Definitely.
try and keep it all to yourself and go, I will be the winner and I will hold it to myself, it will take you 100 years
Totally.
and probably millions of pounds, whether you want to do it that way. You work with
Absolutely.
others, share the prosperity, share the wealth and knowledge, and get as many people as you can on board. You will actually achieve everything you want.
I totally agree with
And
that.
I think financial security comes with that as well, because
does.
you're creating
It's
the
your
sort
community.
of your mosaic,
So
isn't
who
it?
I work with and my kind of team, they don't
Yeah.
work under me, but we are together a team of people
Yeah.
trying to make a difference. And I include our coffee shops, etc. We're all part
They
of this
have to be part of
community.
that. They're essential, aren't they? As
They are
everybody,
essential. They
every
have to
bit of
get
the
on
cog.
board.
Yeah,
Yeah.
your waste, everybody, anaerobic digestion, guys, everybody plays a vital part at the
Part of
moment.
the jigsaw. Yeah.
Great. And then, do you want to give me a little list of the products you're currently doing?
Yeah, so it's a bit bizarre, really, because my background is medic.
Yes.
but what really
All
resonates...
medics need to relax.
Totally. We'll come on to
Yeah, you'll find out why now.
But what I guess I really struck with me is, why can't we make new food and drink from a food waste? And I was seeing that people were distilling spirits with all sorts of weird and wonderful things. And I thought, you know what, we love coffee, but yet there aren't any spirits that use coffee and treat it as a botanical. We put yuzu in and lemongrass and all these weird and wonderful ingredients. Why can't we use coffee? So that was where our research and development took us. So we now developed 3 spirits with flavour notes of
Yes.
coffee in there. And then we've also done a lovely rapeseed oil, which is grown
I love
temperature
rape, by the way. I might have to have a
just
little.
down the road.
Yeah.
And instead of infusing it with your usual chili, rosemary, garlics, etc., we've got coffee in there. And there's all sorts of reasons for that. But it just to say, it's just a lovely nutty rapeseed oil that's got some smokiness and earthiness from the coffee. And then lastly, in terms of food and drink, we've got a dark vegan chocolate, which is sustainably sourced and no plastic packaging. and contains our coffee grounds in there, and you are eating coffee grounds. Sounds not very nice, but it gives a lovely kind of texture.
It's been processed.
It's
It's not just
been
been poured
processed.
over the top. Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's instant coffee basically we're putting in there. So if you have a coffee chocolate, what do you think you're...
Here's a question with the chocolate: is there caffeine in the chocolate, or is it spent coffee, so there's no caffeine in it?
I can't say there's definitely any caffeine in there, but as I say, at least 2/3.
There's sugar in it at the very least, isn't it? 'Cause it's chocolate. So you're going to get it. You go, I've got a hit. It's probably the sugar.
So you're talking about caffeine, but one of the big points is coffee. Race coffee has huge amounts of antioxidants, like chocolate. You know, when they say have a portion of dark chocolate every day,
Yes.
the phenolics, the antioxidants in there. Coffee also has that, and fiber. So we've had our coffee grounds analysed, and they're 50% by weight fiber. So without even knowing it, you're getting
High fiber, deoxidants,
in a chocolate bar.
Well, I'm not a chocoholic, but there's an excuse for anybody out there who likes their chocolate. You know what to do.
That's what I wanted to wow people with. Look what you can do with this so-called waste product.
Yeah, there's
It's
so many ideas out there, isn't there?
all of our food and drink. It's not there because we can just put it in there. It was done under lots of R&D to enhance the product.
And I think this is the exciting thing I'm seeing across Wales, no matter if it's food, products, industry, charities, housing associations. You don't have to do the same thing we've always done for the last 40 years. And the technology has moved things so far and fast. It's actually in our hands if we want to actually change it. And that's the really exciting thing in Wales, with the amount of SMEs, microeconomies, and single people employers. We're allowed to experiment. We're
Yes.
allowed as a population to find all these new amazing products. And I keep finding world firsts wherever I go in Wales.
Yeah.
And that, I think, as a country of either just under or just over 3 million people, we
Yeah.
punch so far above our weight in ingenuity and creativity and
Yes.
finding solutions. I think we've done that for a long time because communities in Wales have always been a little bit on their own. But that's in some ways not a bad thing because we make the most of what we've got. You talk about coffee grounds and people doing all these amazing things with it. It only happens when sort of necessity kicks in, whether that's poverty, a lack of resource that once was there. And I think that we should be doing that even when we're okay.
Yeah,
And I think that's
definitely.
what brings
Well,
up the
that's
exciting thing.
future-proofing.
Yeah.
That's building in resilience, isn't
So-
it? 'Cause we don't know what's around the corner.
And that brings you on to a beautiful question, which is what challenges do you face as a Welsh business or project, and what support or collaboration would help support or accelerate your impact?
Oh,
It's a difficult one, I know.
It is a difficult, but I kind of know the answer to it. I mean, we've
Please
already said
tell
about
me.
collaboration.
Yeah.
And, it's much more than just two people or two businesses coming together, because it's actually synergistic, isn't it? You get
Yeah.
much more, and then it's amazing how that person knows that person and that person, and before you know it, you're starting to really get this whole system.
Yeah.
It is a system that
Yeah.
we need in place. So what's waste for one person, maybe a resource for another,
100%.
and if we talk to each other about that, we can all maximise that. Instead of, I worked in the NHS where the central good was the patient. It wasn't about our ego, who was doing something better or first or whatever. It was about, will this improve the patient care that we can provide? And I come into this business wearing my heart on my sleeve in that respect. I'm not a canny business person in that sense.
It's just trying to make money and get out. Yeah.
I mean, let's face it, I could be retired sitting on the beach with a pina colada. I choose to do this. And when I set this business up, it wasn't business for business sake. For whatever reason, wanted to continue to make a difference.
Yeah.
And this is how I saw, or this is what infused me. Other people may not have spotted it, but it piqued my interest. Lockdown came and I just couldn't forget about it. And once you
You were
see,
locked in
I was
to
locked
constantly
in.
think about it. That's amazing. Thank you, lockdown. This is the funny thing, Joe. A lot of the interviews and a lot of the people that have started a business or doing something, it always comes, even myself. GreenWales, and it
something
really
very bizarre happened though in that period for us.
very
didn't it?
reflective. I think
Yeah,
it
very
stopped us all
reflective.
in our, because life is so
Yes.
busy and so crazy,
Hamster
and
wheel, and you stepped away from that.
everybody stepped away. Everyone
Yeah.
got perspective. Everyone got to stop and to think, and it was horrific. I won't say it wasn't horrific at all, because it was.
Yeah.
If we could not have made it happen, it should not have
Oh, yeah,
happened.
yeah.
But it done a lot of good for a lot of people's mental health. Again, not everybody. I
Yes.
can't just broad stroke against that.
Yeah.
But people who work people who are maybe workaholics, and they got to stop for a minute. They got to work on other projects
Yes.
and to be a secret workaholic
Yes.
at home, locked up.
Well, yeah, I mean, I sorted all my spice rack out, etc.
Exactly.
And then what
Set up a new
next?
company. Yeah, no, but
Let's just set up a
but it let you think about these things properly, and then at the same time, everybody. And I think there's been a lot of shocks in the economy. You know, there's been a lot of
That's
things
been hard.
happening. It's
Been
it's
very
not been
challenging.
easy to have if you had a normal business, you would have struggled more, I think, than if you had a new business trying to do different things.
Yeah.
So weirdly, that way of struggle, encouraging new ideas,
Yes.
has come through anyway.
Yes, I mean, I guess I put it down to lack of personal experience. I've never run a business before, so, and it's been a huge learning curve for me.
Of course.
But I enjoy learning. That's
There's no such thing as failure, only growth.
yeah, exactly, and it is that if you have that mindset, and I think that of course, I'm not painting it to be like forever rosy because it isn't. It has been difficult. But I guess I just went into it more with passion and quite a lot of naivety.
Yeah, but the passion is what gets you through. Because if you're not passionate about something, you'll do 18 months and then it'll fold. And I think when you've had an intense career, no matter what, if it's in the NHS, mine was in theatre, and you come out of that and you go, actually, I can do something for me and follow my passion. It's intentful.
It feeds me, obviously, so it's not all altruistic. I get something out of this as 100%. Well.
You just haven't got a fleet of Jaguars around the corner. I do like Jags, but no, I like the Jeep. I want the Jeep. Anyway, not a massive fan of
electric then, is it?
Yes, I'd love it to be electric, but I just feel, I got to get the charger outside my house. That's another. Anyway, different interview. We'll talk about chargers another day. So here's about a long-term vision then. So what's your long-term vision for Wales? The green economy, and what role do you hope to play locally, nationally, or globally in what you're doing?
There's a very important arm of the business which I haven't really touched upon yet, and there's sort of a reason for that, and that is that I don't want my products to be deemed as kind of too worthy, like I'm on my soapbox preaching to people. So I think it has to be quality of product first, and then people get entranced by the story. And for me, one of the most powerful drivers is that, so I worked in NHS psychiatry, I worked a lot with people with homelessness and mental health problems, including substance misuse. And when I retired, I became a trustee on the Welsh charity. And going forward, I always wanted the business to be able to give back, because I really think, if you look at, as you've already mentioned, the number of small business owners there are, we actually, there's more of us than big businesses.
Oh, a lot more.
And we can still make a big difference. So to be really impactful, we've had volunteers with us from homelessness sector, but we also love to donate a proportion of our profits. So we've kind of like, just to cut through all the red tape and the greenwashing, every bottle of spirits that we sell, we are able to donate £1, and it goes to Clamai. And this sort of comes back to your question really, because I'm really championing young people. So Clamai is our national charity, and it supports young homeless and then women with young families that are like fleeing domestic abuse, etc. And the reason for that, without being too profound, is I worked with adults that had been homeless for quite some time and had entrenched difficulties, socially, physically, mentally. We were being very reactive, to that situation, that care was required, but we weren't changing the trajectory of their lives. And I really think if we can focus on the young and those that are coming next, inspiring, aspiring, mentoring, supporting, and giving them hopefully a different view on life and a different pathway. And we have to really tackle young homelessness. It's actually shocking. And by doing something like this and supporting a charity that has all the right support in place already, they know what they're doing. They know how to work with these young people and change their life direction. They are our future. If we can't lead by example, we have to be able to show to young people there is a way forward, give hope and optimism as well, that we haven't copped this world up completely for them. And so that's a really important part of the business as well. So I won't be around forever. And I don't even know how long my business will continue with me at the fore. But what I would really like to say is, hopefully along the way, somewhere we've inspired, we've given a very clear message that we can do something different. And if I can, even if I retire from this business, you know, I would still love to really champion other businesses to take this forward.
And I think it's an important part you're saying there. You know, a lot of us who are doing this, we're 30 years behind where the younger generation when they come through, because these things, we're the ones who are creating these pathways for it to happen.
Yes.
I always talk about my daughter having a forest school when she was 4. I didn't access nature till I was about 30. So what will she become? And if we put the infrastructure in for them when they come through, we're putting the foundation blocks in, and then hopefully they'll just accelerate it.
Exactly.
And whether that's, you know, Project Seagrass, talk about them 10 years ago, etc., they needed a degree in order to get into that sort of side of things. Well, now there's a college program being put together, which means the access needs to be far. You don't have to be a doctorate in whatever to be able to do these amazing projects that we've all had to create. Now you can have access to everything coming through. And again, if they're having these forest schools, etc., and this exposure this early on, and if we as a nation are learning to collaborate, and instead of partner, don't like partnership, collaboration is so much better because you're sharing so much more. That trust comes through, the network comes through, the mosaic comes through, the community is rebuilt. We have those micro sort of cities. They talk about 15-minute cities. I love that idea. I'd love to not commute to Cardiff just to get to a nice open space to work in. If I could just go to my local place, it'd be like Tonopandi or Treorchy to go and work. That just means where I live becomes more prosperous. I don't think there's a problem in that. And right now, it just seems you have to go to quite either a populated area or a tourist-attracted area with high, you know, populations or high income coming in order to find that. But what I am seeing is the shoots of it all starting and coming through. So this leads me on. Good. Good. Well, watch the other episodes. You'll see the rest. Subscribe to GreenWales. That you leave me neatly on. If you subscribe, okay. So the whole I'm gonna carry on. So if you subscribe to GreenWales, it helps with the exposure of the channel, it helps with the exposure of all these different projects. I only become successful if everybody else becomes successful first. I did the math. If I get 1,000 watches after I have 3,000 subscribers, I get 20 pence. So if I had 10,000 watches in a week, I get £2. So I am not. I am not here to earn money. What I'm here to do is to act as the connector. I'm going to talk to you about the collaboration station and how you're going to become part of the collective in a second. But I'd like to finish off with a nice little question where we say is, who else is doing amazing things in Wales who I should go and see? And we put this down to the interviewee because it helps with my transparency. So I don't like cherry pick. I cherry pick when I go and see them because I got to plan it all out so it all makes sense. But I have a list of people I go and see, and that can be people, projects, different businesses. Who would you send me to go and see?
Gosh, that is a tricky one.
It is,
It really is. I guess I'm going to be a bit biased here and actually
you are allowed to be biased.
The mushroom growing facility.
Oh, so
when they're up and like fully running.
It's bee leaf,
It's bee leaf, in Garrow House. I mean, they've already grown mushrooms. They've set the unit up and they've already grown trial mushrooms off normal substrate. So the net, so you'll actually see them starting with the coffee grounds.
I'm getting your present out.
Oh, I shouldn't have looked.
Oh, she saw it.
And you've already mentioned Carrymore. So, you know, there are certain...
I was on a boat with them 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, you see, I think that's fantastic. I mean, I am one of those people that actually, when I read an innovation story, I get excited about it.
Well, they're fertilisers. They're working with Nopla, which is all about making plastic packaging.
Of course, they won the Earthshot Prize.
Yeah, they did. I was wondering why I knew them so well.
But you know what? You could start to look at, I mean, that's seaweed based, but mycelium.
Yes.
And so actually there's another company called T Simul who make lampshades.
Oh yes, based in Swansea. Yeah, I've reached out to them. There we go. T Simul, I'm going to have to come again.
What we asked them is, do they want the coffee grounds mycelium?
Wow.
So
they can then grow and make another product out of it, which creates a bigger circular economy. Wow, there we go. So
it could just keep the loops.
Well, that's the whole point of circular economy is keep the same materials in for as long as possible before they degrade, and then as long as possible before they degrade and keep doing that. So the last thing we say is thank you very, very much for the interview today. It's been lovely coming around and seeing everything that's going on, and it's really nice to see something really physical happening. I love, my favourite in some ways, biasly myself, is to see the small businesses and the micro, because the businesses are what's going to sort of push everything else out there. The charity's fantastic, the projects are brilliant, but the business is great as well. And I'd like to push you to go and see Coalfield Flower Farm. They're both mental health NHS nurses who've changed and got that into on Revel. You'd love chatting to them, so I'll push you. So now here's a little present. This is the GreenWales
Is this
badge.
from you two pounds?
This is for you. This is the present. So this is
I'll proudly wear that.
You're now part
Thank
of
you.
the collective. So we don't do
Yes.
membership. The collective is a group of people who are all doing things in Wales and approving that they're doing them. And then you get to be part of something called the collaboration station, which is where after this you become part of it. It's not a newsletter. Okay, it's a collaboration station is what I call it. It looks like a newsletter, but it's not. But it's all about connecting people together.
Fabulous.
So the one is about to go out now. So if I remember, I'll put you into the emails. You'll get the second edition because it only goes out every quarter. Okay. And the whole point is about drawing people together, showing each other what they need, what they're doing,
amazing
what
where
products.
those conversations lead, to be honest, and most things get sparked that way.
It's the collaborative nature about things. If you open up and let people in and be like, I could do with this, I have an opportunity here. You might have Coffee Flower Farm and yourself. Exactly. I think that's a lovely little synergy for something else. Yeah. You got Club Coffee based in Tonopandi. I think they'd love to be part of that supply chain, you know? I know your supply chain is probably going incremental as in like radius.
Sort of kind of South Wales, very concentrated around Cardiff and urban areas because the mileage, the carbon footprint.
Yeah, you've got to be.
It is a model that could be replicated. But I think the key for that, instead of it casting it back to Cardiff, is to have micro coffee cities.
15-minute coffee cities.
So they would use their own resource in that community. Yeah. So it's working out what business would be there that would use the coffee waste from that area. What could they do with it locally? And that's it. Stop it being carted around. Just have hubs.
See, and this, I love it that you're saying that, you know, because you're not saying, I want it just for me. You know, you are sharing it.
For good.
No.
It'll be, let's see what that community themselves.
You might have a hub where the general waste all goes to the anaerobic digestion. I have to keep the AD. That sounds like AD. What does it mean again? I was like, oh my God. But, you know, there might be a facility that does that, but all these pickup places and everything else. That's how we're going to work in the future. Same with power, you know? And all our hydro. There's a gentleman I know called Rupert. He does the open mapping. And he talks about how he's doing research in Wales for hydro dams. And I forget what water is in Welsh. It's Dŵr, isn't it? But the way places are named all over the valleys, or what mill is in Welsh, because places are named where water mills were. So if you look where water mills were in names, you literally could put a hydro dam there. So all you got to do is look at the name of everywhere in Wales and go, a hydro dam can go there immediately because it was already there back 200 years ago. Isn't that amazing? That's a good way to end.
Absolutely.
Right. The last thing we do is we just wave to camera and we say goodbye. So thank you very much.
It's been a pleasure.
Bye.
Bye.
Hello.